Hi, and welcome to another episode of the StacyM Show. Today, I have no notes, so we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully, I remember everything I was going to chat today. And even though I say it pretty often, it's going to be a quick one. Hoping today is a quick one because it's just something that I've started to do more consciously, I suppose, and I thought it might help some of you as well. So in case you haven't tuned in before, my name is Stacy and I am many things. I am a lawyer, I have a mortgage broking business, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, I'm a mum, all the things. My bio will be down below if you want to check out more. But today's episode I've titled the red dress method or the red dress formula, whatever you want to call it. And it was just based off a YouTube video I watched of Alex Hormozi. So there, apart from kind of knowing he was the dude with the beard in the singlet top, the tank top, I didn't know too much else about him. But there was a YouTube video that was recommended to me to watch, and it was something along the lines of make so much money that you're being embarrassed, or it was something to that extent. I'll make sure I stick it below as well because I've probably just watched that name. But it was just watching that video, and then I kind of started watching a few other ones. And there was many takeaways that I got, but one of the takeaways that have stuck with me and what I've actually implemented. He was talking about the red dress and the movie The Matrix. So I have not seen The Matrix, but apparently there is like a lady with a red dress in The Matrix and she's like a distraction. So if there's any more to that for context, I don't have it because as I said, I haven't looked at The Matrix and I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole. For me, it was just red dress and all the distractions. And if you know who I am that person who has all the tabs open on their phone, and including in the private section that you can have on your iPhone. I'm the one that has the 50 million tabs open up on their computer screen on their Google window. I have way too many emails in my Google email. My work email isn't too bad, but my list of ideas is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm very clearly a visionary, and at some point you kind of need to be the person that implements stuff as well. But I just, I have a whole board dedicated to just where dreams probably go to die. It's just all of my dreams, all the ideas I have, all the absolutely everything, and there's probably no way on earth I'm ever going to get all the way through it. Some things will see the light of day, other things won't, but guaranteed there is not a day that goes by that I don't add something to it because I've had an idea. I have had like over 17,000 photos on my phone as well, and the majority of them were screenshots. So there were some kids and some dog photos in there, but a lot of them were actually screenshots as well. So I've even started putting them up on the program that I use, my CRM. I think I call it a CRM. Yeah, so I've been putting those up on there as well. So I'm clearing my phone off. So I'm down to 16,000 and something. So that's pretty good for me. And I'm just, going through them daily. But essentially, red dress method. So it's easy for me to kind of get distracted with things, I suppose, because I have so many different ideas. Like I will literally wake up at like 2-3 o'clock and have to write something down because I've thought of something. Like it's really, really difficult to get me to switch off. And I'm working on methods and supplements and stuff to make that better as well. But effectively for me, the red dress thing just obviously really resonated with me at the time. And with my board where ideas go to die, first of all, I changed the color of different things to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I changed words to certain things. So like in the priority, it was like critical and high, and it was all kind of like really aggressive tone. So like I've changed the colors for that, and it's like, hey, let's get it done. And it's like, hey, when we get to it. So like I've changed the wording of like what the priority meant. It still ranks how it's meant to rank, but the wording and the colors have changed. I've also I use Monday. That's just one of the programs that I use. I got onto that through one of my mentors, Tina Tower, and she helped me come up with some of these ideas as well. But I wasn't using it effectively as what I could. So I suppose long story short, I've made it more user-friendly for me. So it actually feels like I'm accomplishing things. One of the things I had to do for that was go back through all of my boards. So I have like a personal board, I have a StacyM board, I have a confetti board, I have an all-star board, I have a aqua board. I think that's a business I was forgetting. And I have a new project, surprise, surprise, happening as well. So I'm not giving information away for that yet, but I've got a board there for that. And I went through and I put the priority in there. So what priority it was, it's like, hey, this is just a dream gone to die, or yep, let's get it done. Just when we get to it, not so urgent. And I put dates on things as well. But what that made me do is really go through that list and redress stuff. So effectively, I cleaned up. I mean, there's still a lot on there, but I'm very proud that I have gone through and have deleted a lot of those tasks because they weren't really going to move the needle, I suppose. And, they're still there if they need to be there. They're just put in a different section, but I don't have to go into that board and just get so overwhelmed with everything's on there. And what I literally did was just go through my list and I went redress, 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 redress. It was just redressing everything. And to me, I knew what that term went. It was the distraction of something, or, you're putting something off because, I'm good at procrastinating. So I think I need to have more information, but what I have is probably enough. And that part of me probably won't change because I'm very big on lifelong learning. But a lot of it also didn't need to happen either. And it was really unrealistic. So I just went through and redressed all of those boards. So that would have been, I don't want to know how many tasks. I think it would have been the thousands. And for me, what that did was it just gave me a sense of relief, I suppose. I definitely felt not so tied down to like all the things on that to-do list. Changing the wording and the color has made a massive difference. Just put something simple as putting the date in with things. If you don't use Monday, it's probably a bit difficult to explain. And I kind of don't want to explain like in depth because I just don't think that it's going to be worthwhile. If you want to learn more about Monday, let me know, or there's plenty of videos out there. But effectively, I just wasn't putting dates on things. So I was using as a task, and then I was going into every single board every single day and going through those tasks, and I wasn't completing things. So something simple like that has really helped me as well. But redress, when I go to make a decision or I go to take that screenshot again or put something on my, never ending to-do list, I am like, redress. Is this needed? Do I have to do this? No, Stacy, you're procrastinating. Let's just get to this. So I suppose what I'm saying, and I'll put the episode link below as well so you can watch it because I'm obviously paraphrasing the only component of that, I suppose. I mean, the video itself was very worthwhile, but the redress component was just what obviously I needed at the time when I was watching it. So I have been using redress everywhere. So if that's a distraction, if it's not going to move the needle, if it's going to move the needle, but it's going to take so much energy and effort to move the needle, maybe like, 1% higher, then it's not going to be worthwhile me putting that in there. And something else Alex explains is that, you might have this idea and then you're going to have to kind of gauge how much of a benefit is this idea going to be and how much money and how much effort and time and everything like that. And there's chances performance will probably drop, income will probably drop until you get up here. So you have to work out whether the drop and then the increase is going to be worthwhile, that thing that you're going to implement. So for me, I'm just so much more mindful on redress. To me, that is like, is this really needed? Is this going to move the needle? Do you really have to do this, Stacy? Redress or yes. So open to any other ideas that you guys may use. For me, I have no intention of watching The Matrix. So if there's a little bit more context to the lady in the red dress, I do apologize. But for me, it's just that, that small red dress distraction thing has just helped me so much. It's reduced my overwhelm and just changing things a little bit around as to how I work. I obviously run multiple businesses. I still do have like one-on-one clients, I'm a mum, my kids do stuff. So there's a lot happening. So the better use of Monday has helped me. But the red dress thing, to me, I think has been an absolute game changer the past few weeks because it's really made me think, does this have to go on the to-do list? Does this screenshot have to be a screenshot and then go on the list? Will this move the needle enough? And I suppose if you are in business, or it might not even be business related, it could be career related, it could be anything related, just work out whether something is a distraction, whether the red dress thing works for you. There might be something else that works for you, and I'm very open to hear what those ideas are. But just because I resonated so much with that part, it's just made my life easier, because I've honestly, it's got my brain to quieten down for a little bit and go, okay, Stacy, is this realistic? For one, do you really want to do it? Do you have the time and effort and the money to do it? And say all of that was a yes. What improvement is that going to have? And, if the improvement is not going to be worth it, and I can appreciate that small improvements, lead, to bigger things over time. But when you're in business, sometimes there's consequences of changing things. You might change a process, you might add a service, you might change the way you do the service, or whatever that means. So just, if you are starting to get overwhelmed and you're like me and you have that massive to-do list and you can't just quiet your brain for a little bit, try the red dress method. If you don't like red dresses, you could probably change it to something else. So that's just resonated with me. As I said, I'm not a Matrix fan, but just the whole red dress thing. And I will literally go through and just red dress stuff. And I don't just use it in business, I use it in personal as well, whether I'm, want to buy and waste my money on some gadget or something like that. Do you really need this? Is this a distraction? What are you going to do with it? Is it going to improve your life? Is it going to make it better? Red dress, no, Stacy, you don't need that. So that's all today's episode was. Hopefully it's 12 minutes, so I didn't go too bad. But as I said, I will put the links below to the episodes that I was referring to. But if you feel like you're getting distracted and you have that massive to-do list like I have, perhaps go through it and organize it in a different way. Is it definitely the change of wording and the colors has made a massive difference, and going through and culling that, and the feeling I had when I was going through and culling those things like a red dress. It just was, there was no guilt. There was no crap, I need to go put that back in my to-do list because, I have to do everything on my to-do list. It was just clarity. And I felt just so relieved that was just, one less thing I had to do, another less thing I had to do. And I really, really did clean up my list. As I said, there's still a lot on there, but I was very conscious when I was going through it recently. And I really did get rid of a lot of ideas that just were red dresses. They weren't going to move the needle enough for me to even warrant putting my time and energy and money into. So hopefully today's episode has helped. Looking forward to hearing what other methods that you may use. Or if you want to explain the lady in the red dress, go for it. I was going to Google it, but I don't want to, the Googling of the red dress would be a red dress. Like, I don't need to know about that part. I think I got the part that resonates with me. And even if the context of that wasn't quite right, to me, it's like red dress distraction. I don't need it. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Please share this with anybody who you think needs a little bit of a hand or some suggestions when they are overworked or they are overwhelmed and they got that massive to-do list and they're not quite sure how to manage it, or they feel obliged to comply with everything that's on that to-do list. It really was a massive sense of relief for me when I just went through and red dress stuff, and I felt proud of myself for taking stuff off my to-do list. I'm like, Stacy, that's not going to move the needle, red dress, and you can obviously delete the whole thing. To me, I just mark it as done and it goes into another folder. So in the event I have some remorse and I want to go back and put it back on the list, I can. But for me, it's just sitting in another folder. I don't even go into that folder, so I don't know it's there. I don't need to know it's there, but I highly doubt. I couldn't even tell you what I took off my list. I honestly have no idea. So it obviously wasn't something enough for me to stay up at night because I've taken something off my list. So honestly, could not tell you what I'd taken off that list. So it clearly wasn't enough for me to warrant putting my time and energy into those projects. But again, hopefully that helps you. Please pass it on to someone who might need a bit of assistance with distractions. And I'd be really curious to know whether that method has worked for you. And thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. See you.